Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. First of all, I want to say I made a big mistake yesterday. For some of you have actually have come to my home. You know that I do classes on just a bunch of different things. I actually did a class yesterday on off-grid solar power, and we had a great showing of people. We had an awesome showing on the Zoom. We did a Zoom link, and we had a lot of people out there show up on the Zoom link and well, but I messed up. I had technical difficulties. I didn't get it. I don't know if I didn't set the recording right. The recording did right. I think I just couldn't get the screens right, and then I lost power on the laptop. I got it back up and running, and then it recorded the wrong screen. It was a cluster. It was a cluster. So unfortunately that recording didn't happen. But the class was great. We had a lot of fun. I hope people learned a lot, and like I said, there was a lot of people on the Zoom, which was really cool, and everybody was asking questions. So it made it really awesome. However, I didn't record it, and I promised a lot of people that I would record it. So here I am. It was Saturday when I did it, and today is Father's Day, Sunday. I didn't put everything up because I'm gonna have to record it. I'm gonna have to do it all over again. But I guess it works out good for everybody because this is gonna be on YouTube, and so I can share what we shared with everybody else. So let's get started. Okay, so the very first thing I want to talk about is and we talked in the class is, a lot of people want to go off grid, but I don't think they necessarily know. I get a lot of questions. Most of the questions that I get is, what do I need? What do I have to have? What do you recommend? To be honest with you, I can't recommend anything for you. Nobody can. The only person that can recommend what's the best for you is you. And here's the interesting part. So I'm going to tell you, the very first thing anybody is considering to go off grid, period, or considering to go into solar or to get a generator or to get whatever you want to go and do, you got to figure out what you need. What do you want? Well, let me correct myself. There's a need, and then there's a want. Okay, I go to the want. Here's zero. Here's need. Here's want. Very first thing everybody should be getting, period, is one of these. This is what you call a kilowatt meter. I pick mine up at Harbor Freight. You can get it on, I'm sure, at Amazon online. So you can buy it anywhere. I'm pretty sure. You got to have one of these. This thing's going to tell you exactly the things that you are looking for, what they utilize in power. So I'll give you an example. You know what? You may just want to say, hey, I want to make sure my fridge, if I lose power, I want to make sure my fridge is running. Well, how much does it take to run a fridge? Every fridge is different, right? So depending on the efficiencies of the fridge. I'll give you an example. Mine's about 150 watts to run it. It does have a peak that it goes up when the compressor comes on, which is not really high, but it's high enough. So it's about 150, peaks up to about 300, somewhere around there. Not very high, but it's about 150 watts is what it runs. Okay, so if I don't want to lose my food, I spend too much money putting food in the fridge for it to go bad. So I want to make sure that that I cover at least the fridge, right? Okay, so that is the fridge. Okay, so I got the fridge covered. But what else do I need? What else do I want to make sure that I have available to me? Well, I also got a freezer. So that's that's another 150. So I'm at 300 watts right now. Okay, this little watt meter. All I got to do is plug it into the wall, and then I plug whatever I'm going to check. So my freezer, I plug it into this. It tells me I'm using 150 watts there as well. So I'm up to about 300 watts for the fridge, right? So that's the fridge and freezer. That's 300 watts. What else do I need? Okay, I want some lights. Some of you guys say, well, I have flashlights, all this other stuff. No, I got to run stuff. So I'm going to figure, because I use a lot of my LED lights are 5 volt watt LED lights. I figure I don't need more than 100 for lights. 100 is probably way more than that. So I'm at about 400 watts for lights. What else do I need? I need a fridge. I need some lights. What else? I mean, everybody's different. What can I use? Maybe I need to watch some TV so that the kids keep busy, right? So I've got a TV that runs on 50 watts, and I have some DVDs. As I said, I was up to about 400. Let's throw 475. Let's throw just say 500 watts right there. Okay. I don't know what the temperature is going to be like. It may be hot. It may be cold. I don't know. Let's say it's summer. It's hot right now out here. It's at 100 degrees, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what it is. The humidity's high. I barely feel any kind of a breeze. It's warm. You know what? I may want to run an air conditioner. A lot of people are like, that's a big, it's a big deal. Hector, you put that in there. Yeah, that's about 500 watts if I get a 5,000 BTU window unit. Okay, that's about 500 watts. Mine's running about 470. Let's just say 500 watts roughly. I am now roughly up to what? 1,000 watts. That's just to be comfortable. Watch some TV with the kids. Run the air conditioner. Make sure the freezer and the fridge is going. So all that's going. Hey, I'm good. I can get some cold water out of the fridge. The same thing out of the freezer. So yeah, somebody said out of the freezer. So I'm at 1,000 watts. So there's that right there. Some people are saying, well, that's not what you need to survive. I go, and I'm going to tell you this. There's a difference between surviving and thriving. Here's my spectrum. I'm sucking at 0. I'm surviving right here, and I'm thriving right here. I'm going to go for thriving. Everything I do is to thrive. And what I mean by thrive is I am not going to suffer. Why would we want to suffer just to get by? Forget the suffering. Work towards making sure that your family is comfortable. That just makes common sense to me. I know there's a lot of people in here that are survivalists, and they're like the minimalists, and good for you, but not for me. And I'm going to be a little bit smarter than that. So so I'm going to go a little bit to the other spectrum, and I know the majority of you want to do the same exact thing. So now I'm at about 1,000 watts of minimum for me that I want to be able to run things should I lose power, right? So how do we run that? Okay, this is an off-grid, backup power class that we're doing. So let's talk about that. I'm going to tell you what the minimum is. What you should have as a minimum. Some of you are going to tell me you can't have it, and hang out, because we're going to be able to tell you what you can have to make up for the minimum. But the minimum everybody should have, in my opinion, is a generator. You know what? A lot of people are like, I want to go off-grid with solar. I want to do generator. That's great. That's all dandy. But you know what? Things break. You have issues with problems. You should always have it at a minimum as a backup. If you can and you're allowed in your neighborhood, or you may be in an apartment and you can't, we have a solution for that. But every home should have at least a generator. Let's talk about generators. Come on over here. Come on over here. We're going to talk about a couple of different types of generators. And let's see. Oh, get right down here. All right. So hopefully you can see. The first one I'm going to talk about here is, whoa, back it up, is this little guy right here. Now when I get to talking, I'm going to tell you some simplicities of Hector. This is Hector's simplicities. And oh, by the way, sun's coming in and out. I'm not sure how it darkens and brightens on this whole on this camera, so it's kind of comical. So just bear with me on the video. Okay. Whoa, there we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's talk about generators. Everybody should have a minimum of a generator. Okay. Okay. Here we go. I don't like that. I do not like that. So we're going to do this from a different angle. Here we go. From a different angle. We should be okay here. I do not like it getting dark in and out. All right. So let's begin. So the very first thing I'm going to begin with is you should have a generator. I've already said that. You've already heard me say that. Don't want to repeat it 20,000 times. Did I say you should have a generator? You should have a generator. At a minimum. So now we've established that I need 1,000 watts to run the minimums that I need, okay? Well, there's tons of generators that'll run 1,000 watts. Easy, okay? So now there's a lot of you out there, and I laugh. I laugh at some of you. I laugh at you. And what I mean by that is, some of you, we don't want to run a generator. We're off grid. We don't want anybody to know that we're here. Dude, unless there's zombies and the world has come apart, get a generator, okay? So unless they're coming over the walls, get a generator. All right, the reality of the majority of the time is you're going to have some issues that happen because of the environment. You know, the grid just goes down because it can't handle. Everybody's using their air conditioners fully. Now you've got nothing. And there's no wars going on. There's no zombies coming to get you. Nobody cares about your generator. They really don't. They're stressing out about themselves right now. And you know what? And they're probably trying to figure out how to get a generator and making some phone calls or whatever they need to do. So, but if you're worried about how loud the generators are and you're going to get yourself away, Guess what? Start with one of these. This is an inverter generator. Inverter generators are really awesome little generators. They're very, very quiet. Okay, and oh, by the way, they're efficient. They're super efficient. That means your gas goes a long, long way with these. All right, this little inverter generator happens to be from Harbor Freight. And oh, by the way, everything I show you, nobody sponsors me whatsoever. I do this because I enjoy it. This is my passion, and I enjoy sharing with you all. Okay, and I get it to be able to do that. Now, with that being said, this little inverter generator, you can get them at Harbor Freight. They run about $500. I don't know what that is. That's, you know, it's somewhere around $500. Really quiet. If I'm only using 1,000 watt, this is a 2,000 watt inverter, by the way. 2,000 watt inverter. Now, something that's really important to understand. There's a lot of places that'll give you a number, and you're thinking, hey, that's great, that'll run everything I want. Nah, slow down, stop, Speedy. You need to know something very important, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Okay, right here, I've got a 4,000. This is 4,000 watts. Sweet! But do I really have 4,000 watts available? No, I don't. I actually have 3,200 running watts, 4,000 peak maximum watts. Hector, what does that mean? 3,200 watts, but it says maximum 4,000 watts. What does that mean? What that means is it's peak. 4,000 is the peak, 3,200 is the running. What you really have to work off is the 3,200. Remember I told you your compressor sometimes kicks in and it goes up, and when it goes up, because your fridge is starting to get warm or whatever the case, and it needs to maintain keeping it cold or frozen, whatever, that compressor kicks in. Same thing like your air conditioner. It does the same thing. It starts running a certain amount, and then once the room gets a little bit hotter, it's trying to compensate so that the compressor kicks in, and now you're pulling a lot more juice. So let's say, for the fun of it, I'll give you an example. Let's say that, again, the fridge, 150 watts, right? But when the compressor kicks in, it goes up to 300 watts. Same thing here. When you buy one of these generators, you want to realize that, hey, this one's a 3,200 watt generator. I have 3,200 watts that I can use. So if you turn everything on and it adds up to 3,200, you're thinking, hey, I'm good. As soon as your compressor kicks in, if it was only 3,200 watts, it would shut the generator down. But these generators have what they allow for a peak rise. So if the compressor does come on for for a set amount of time, it'll still run it. It'll run it at up to 4,000, and then once it goes back down, it'll be good. So it has a peak you can go to. A lot of these generators you'll see 5,000 with a 6,000 peak, 6,000 with 7,000 peak. That's what they're talking about. This inverter generator here, if I had to guess, I believe it's about really a 1,700, maybe 1,800 watt running, and a 2,000 peak on this thing. So it's important that you understand that when you're buying a generator. Okay, so I don't want you to not get enough power for what you need. So you want to make sure, it's hot and bugs. I'm going to tell you, welcome to Texas in the summer. So you want to make sure that you understand that, okay? Understand how these generator works. Understand the running and understand the peak. Okay, everybody with me? Are you with me? What movie was that? Are you with me? Okay, that's a different movie. Anyway, so I'm going to talk a little bit and go a little bit further. So, minimum of generator. You lose power, now you can run cords right off of this thing that says 2 cords. You don't want to go in there, get a splitter in the house, and run it to the things that you actually need to run it to. So, your TV, your refrigerator, whatever you need to run to. So, that's what the generator is for. Make sure the generator, you cannot have them in the house. Make sure you have them away from the house so that the exhaust is not coming through the windows or the door or any of that. Make sure that you have them away. Recommend in the backyard, not in the front yard, not in the out front of the garage. People do steal things. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But make sure you have it someplace where it's safe. And if you want to feel safer, go get a lock and a cable for it, so you don't have to worry about. For those that stress out about that, make sure that you do that. So, especially when these are quiet, they're not loud. If somebody were to take one in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, you wouldn't even know about it. So until you start getting really hot. But anyway, these are awesome. So at a minimum, you need to have a generator. Okay, so let's go to the next step. So we talked about generators, right? This is a small one, about $500. This is another one. It's not an inverter. This one right here, it's not an inverter generator. Which, again, the inverter, if I'm only running about 1,000 watts, I can put out an echo. It's using even less fuel. But if I need the full power, boom, it kicks up. And it'll kick up automatically when you need the extra power. That's what's nice about these things. They cost you a little bit more, you know, per wattage. They cost you a little bit more, but the inverter generators are really, really cool, and that's the ones I recommend. So now, again, you have these ones. This is not an inverter, just a regular generator. They're loud. They are loud, and I won't tell you that they're not. Inverters are quieter. These are a little bit louder. But the per wattage for the price, per dollar, you're going to get these cheaper. You just are. That's just the reality. It's because they're a little bit louder, right? So just take a look and see what you want. Another thing too is some of you have different connections, so make sure that you pay attention. Some have 30 amp connections. You can do different things. I can only hook up 110 outlets here. Here I could hook up the 4 110 outlets, but I have a 30 amp connection as well. I could hook up my trailer, my RV, and be able to run it off of that. No sweat, no problem, no issue. Let's go to this other animal I have over here. Whoa! Oh, I'm getting old. Moving around is a little bit rougher. Whew, we're gonna move to the next level of backup power. The next level of backup power. Oh, it's hot. So let's talk about the next level of backup power. And I'm talking power. So now, with that being said, we talked about generators. You can run those generators, you connect extension cords and run them into the house, right? You're still going to keep them outside. No difference than with this generator here. But there's a little bit different. There are different generators that do different things. This one right here, we're moving up to the big boys. This is a 13,000 watt generator right here. It is just too darn cool. I almost don't want to use it. It's so cool. But anyway, it's a 13,000 watt generator. What do I need a massive animal like this for? Well, sometimes the next level from using generators, you're still using generators, but the next level of backup power is what you call a house power transfer switch. House power transfer switch. What the heck is that? What that is that you actually wire an additional panel in your house, and or a special switch, and so that when you lose power, you can go to that switch and then transfer it, change it. That's what we call it, transfer it to the other panel, or moving the switch over. And what you're doing is you're disconnecting from the grid, totally disconnecting from the grid, and now you're connecting to the power that you put into the house. How do you do that, Hector? Well, you put in a special panel in the house, and then you can put a special panel on the outside of the house that you can connect. And it could be a 30 amp, this happens to be a 50 amp, a 30 amp or 50 amp connection point. This one right here, I have a 30 and a 50. I chose to go with the 50 amp. There's a reason for that, but you can do your homework on that. But it doesn't matter, 30 or 50. You're able to go connect this to the, you can turn on the generator, connect this to the house, connect to the generator, turn on the generator, and your generator is running your entire house. How cool is that? How cool is that? Now, you don't have to run extension cords at all. You just go connect it to one point on the outside of your house, and that's it. That's it. That's all you gotta do. You wanna check it out? Hold on a second. Hold on, let me show you real fast. All right, we're in here where I have all my panel. As you can see, this is my main breaker panel right here, and what you're gonna find, and this is the switch from my main to my grid power. I can actually shut this down, and it'll shut this whole panel down. And then I come over here in this panel that I put in, and I flip this switch, and it routes from that panel to this panel. And I picked a set amount of circuit breakers that I wanted. I picked a bunch of them here. I want to make sure I have the kitchen, I have the, the fridge, all those outlets that are running all those things. All that's in here. So as soon as I hit the switch over, that's all I got to do. Boom. So I turn that one off. Boom, over here, and now I'm on this panel. But this panel is not powered until I get power from outside. Let's go take a look at that. Hey, oh, by the way, I'm running inside the house. I want to check. You guys check this out. How many of you guys have your own in-house garden? There's my tomatoes. My tomatoes are growing there. My cherry tomatoes, my cantaloupes, my kale. Oh, little strawberries that are coming up. Oh, there's my cucumbers. Man, this is going to be one of our next videos here real soon. How to do this at home. Whew. Okay, let's get back out to the switch. All right, everybody. So we're now outside the house, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. here is the switch. This is coming from inside the house out, and all I got to do is just pop this open. If you notice, I have a, you see, I don't know you see it real well. You barely see it. Oh, sorry, my hand's in the way. In there is a 50 amp connection. 50 amp connection. And that's where we connect the generator to, and it'll provide power to the house. Whew, running around in the heat, it's a lot of fun, but anyway, so now you got to see my panel inside the house. You got to see where I connect this connection from here to that connector in the side of the house, and run the generator. Boom, I got 1,300 watts of power going. I can run everything. I have literally, honestly, by doing that, I have literally, it's like normal. You wouldn't even know there was a difference. Only difference is I can't run my air conditioning unit or my heating unit, but I can run my water heater. I can run all the almost everything in the house. And at the outlets, I've literally gone in the summer. I've put in a window unit, and I put 2 mobile air conditioning units that take quite a bit of wattage on those. So I can have them in the front room, in the bedrooms, when we're sleeping, and runs them no problem whatsoever. Because it's a 50 amp setup, so really cool. I have lots of power to use, and it's like whoa. Welcome to Texas. Those are the fire ants. So now, with that being said, it's the nice thing about it when you have a power transfer switch and you have that kind of a backup system. And some of them, some that have DuraMax, things like that I'll do all that comes on automatically. But anyway, by having those, it's like you've never lost power whatsoever, and the whole house is running just like normal. So other than your heating and your air conditioning, but you can subsidize that by buying those portable units. So that's what I recommend that you do if you want to go with this direction. Now, I'm not going to tell you what direction. We're talking a little bit about cost. Cost is very important. To some of the decisions that you make. So one of those things I want you to consider is I'm going to tell you exactly what I spent. I bought this air conditioner. Don't look like it. I bought this generator. It ran me about $1,400-1,500 off of Amazon. Ordered it and it came right to me. And then I spent. So that's about $1,500. I spent $4,200 total. So subtract the math, whatever units. It's about $2,500 somewhere around there. To get all the parts for the switch, the transfer switch, get all the parts, get the cable and to have it built, and then to pay the electrician to come in and do it, because you want to have somebody certified that knows what they're doing. And when it comes to electrical, you want to make sure it's done right. So I spent $4,200 for a 50 amp system. Had I gone with just a 30 amp, I could have went with a lower generator, 7,000 watt generator, and probably saved myself, and really, in all honesty, probably about almost $1,000. So I spent about $41-42. You could do what I just did for about $3,200. Get yourself an electrician that can hook you up as well. So that's a great way as a backup system. You can go with the big, the Generac systems that we've seen, and we say Generac because those are the ones we associate with. But you're spending $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, $12,000 for a backup system that's automatic. You have to decide what you want. I wanted max power, which I did. I could have went with 30 amp for about 35, for about 32. I went with a little bit more power for about 42, and I love it. This is a great backup system here. So this is the next level from getting a regular generator and running cords to this level where you connect it to the house and everything runs like normal. Like you don't have to do anything special once you start it. Everything's already connected up in the house like normal, right? So your fridge is running, everything is running, so not a problem. So that's the next level. Whew, that's level number 2.